Hey guys, this is Brad. Just wanted to take a minute to thank you, the listener, for listening and proving you have a growth mindset. Our mission is to curate information from the top influencers around the world. We provide you with real, actionable steps on how to improve in any and every area of your life. Whether you're an entrepreneur, C-suite executive, or just starting your journey of self-development, professional development is all about growth. And you know, if you're not growing, you're dying. If you enjoy this content, please help us by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Here we go.
Hey guys, welcome to the Brofessional Development Podcast. Today is Wednesday, July 14th, and we are in studio without a guest.
Dang. It's good shit. Actually, today, I sent you guys a message like, dude, there's no fucking way I can make it. But I was like, oh, it's just us. These are fun episodes to do because we get to shoot the shit a little bit more. And
I thought you came solely because we're talking about the compound effect.
That's what Matt said. It's
I was like,
I didn't come just because of that.
I saw that email come across and I saw Dan was on there and I'm like,
dude,
compound
whenever,
effect.
whenever you were messaging me and you were like, let's talk about consistency because I've been doing it at work and on the fitness life and you just did 75 hard. I was like, well, let's call it the compound effect because there's a 100% chance that Dan will show up.
That's my favorite book, guys. The Compound Effect.
Okay, whatever. It is my favorite book, but I haven't read it in a long time. So like revisiting the topic, I've forgotten 80%.
It's a good one. The Compound Effect, consistent daily efforts over time. It's got to be a good one. But let's not jump right into it. Let's hear about life. let's hear about what we got going on and
I got a question.
What's new?
So if we're gonna shoot the shit a little bit, let's actually talk about taking a shit.
Okay.
And so Matt and I were talking about this week, where, sometimes TikTok Reels or Instagram Reels or whatever the fuck, they get you. Like you get sucked in and you got to watch it. You're doing those thumb workouts.
It's a bad circle, isn't it?
Yeah. So I don't know why I thought about this, but I'm like, do companies pay out more money for people to take shits nowadays because of Instagram and TikTok and all that than they used to before?
They have to,
before
right?
Cell phones.
I mean, they have to. Oh, before cell phones for sure.
Well,
But
you get stuck on the job.
You guys have worked in. Well, Matt for sure has worked in corporate America.
Yeah.
But the old guys, they just straight up carry a newspaper in the fucking bathroom.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. I mean, bro, pooping on the company dime. Like there's
nothing better. Right?
There's nothing like it.
So I pulled this up, and so it says, if you make $50,000 a year, and you go, well, it says if you visit the toilet 3 times a day, you make $1,250 a year.
Okay, well, not everybody in America has IBS. So.
Yeah, I know that's a little steep. I mean,
yeah, but if you
this is an older article.
I mean, you did 75 hard. How many times you have to go take a piss?
It just says go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sitting there.
I'm sure they have it averaged out. Like there's
they say 4 minutes. 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Each visit.
So yeah, that's the thing.
3
I'm not
times
sitting there
4.
ripping a piss, staring at my phone for.
Yeah, but if you
walk, if
you're
think about it, you walk to the bathroom. I always look at my phone while I'm taking a piss.
I
guess I do, but not for that long.
Yeah. I don't when I take a piss, but when I take a shit, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's definitely more than 4 minutes.
But you figure walking there, doing your shit, walking back.
Yeah.
It's probably 4 minutes.
It's definitely increased. So what are the numbers, Dan?
So if you go 3 times a day, 4 minutes at a time.
Yep.
You make $50K a year. You're getting paid about $1,250 a year just to go to the bathroom.
Not bad.
That's a good weekly paycheck.
But I mean, 4 minutes, that seems short. Like if you're hitting TikTok and Instagram,
that's a 10 minutes.
So what do you think? Do you think that number is higher now? This is an old article.
So I think it hit its peak before COVID because I feel like people don't take as long as shits when we're talking like working from home. Like
really? I feel like it'd have to be longer.
Good difference.
Really?
Well, they don't need to
on your own throne.
Well,
yeah, but the thing is like you could just sit like half the people working from home on COVID are just in their fucking pajamas, sitting on their couch.
They can look at their shit anytime.
You know?
Right? Yeah. I think that there's people that are like, I'm gonna sit here for a couple extra minutes because I'm on company time.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. There's memes about that and shit.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We'll post that one up.
That's a shame considering we own businesses.
Right. We're paying out for people to take
How much money do I actually pay out?
I'm starting timing Jack.
That's why we're talking about this.
Where you
the clock?
They have your bathroom pass?
Yeah, they come in. We hit
it's
a timer.
Like a sundial or whatever.
We hit a timer. Like you gotta fucking get those numbers. You gotta get those numbers down.
Yeah. So I guess I didn't really talk about this because the last time we did a podcast, I was on 75 hard. So I finished.
Yeah.
On.
Congrats.
Yeah.
That's it.
I finished Friday was my last day, and Dan came out and a handful of guys and golfed on Saturday, And man, do I not fucking miss hangovers.
Really?
Oh my God.
Was
you
it
hungover?
so easy to
Oh,
get
did you guys
hungover?
go out
It
after
was
that?
oh yeah, we went out after that, and it was just like, I mean, today's Wednesday, and I still don't feel 100% the same from the weekend, and I didn't. And so the thing is, Saturday I just drank like a lot, and like the eating was somewhat clean still, and then
Just because that's who you are.
what's that?
Like clean eat.
I
feel like that's
still
who you are.
I still had those habits, right? But like Sunday night, I was telling Dan, I was like, "Fuck it!" I was like, "Here we go! Like I'm gonna go ham on some food," and I had an entire extra large pizza with an entire appetizer sampler, and then some
Holy
soda
shit.
and shit. And yeah, dude, I woke up and my eyes were like close to swollen shut the next morning
man.
because I was so fucked, dude. It was bad.
Processed food.
How were those Sour Patch though? They had to,
Last night?
They had to feel good.
I fucking crushed some Sour Patch
Yeah.
Kids. Yeah. So basically, I'm back to being a typical piece of shit in the world.
You
But
lost
those
one.
75 days were good.
You lost one ab already.
I lost all of them. I got a fucking beer gut already.
Really?
After no.
Do you feel like, because we talked off air the other week that you said you were going to go into phase 1. So like when I did 75 hard, I had like the same mentality. I'm like, I'm going to totally do, I'm gonna do phase 1. I'm going to jump right in, get this taken care of. Like this is going good. And then I had like, I'm like, well, I'll take a week off. And then I was like, yeah, fuck that.
Oh, I didn't know you were thinking about doing phase 1.
I did. I like really thought about it, but I took a week off. And
Yeah.
I wish I would have never taken off because I feel like it killed me. Like impossible to start up again.
So I'm already looking to plan out when I'm doing it. I'm probably gonna like live the rest of summer.
Live
Which you'll-
hard.
What?
He wants to do the whole
I'm
program.
gonna live soft.
over the
So right
summer.
now I'm on day 5 of 75 soft.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna go back into the program. No, and I've kind of trying to time it out right because you've got to do you can do the first phase whenever. Second phase you got to wait 30 days. Third phase you got to do like start a month before you started 75 hard. I'm for sure gonna do it.
We
Like,
got to get our experiences done before you jump back into it, like the shaman,
Yeah.
mushrooms,
I'm gonna do I can do mushrooms
all that
on
shit.
75 hard.
It's true.
I could probably do fucking
Doesn't say
Molly.
I've never done
if I
them, so
wanted.
it's like, do you want to eat a lot?
I don't know. I don't think it gives you the munchies. I think you just hallucinate.
That'd be crazy. I'm ready.
Yeah, so am I. I'm ready to see fucking
need to hit him
God.
up.
I'm
We
ready
need
to
to hit him
I'm ready to
It's time.
fucking meet my maker.
I need
and be
to
like,
have that
tell me what I'm
conversation."
fucking doing right now.
Right.
But
No, I think that 75 is cool because going into our topic today,
Smooth
basically
transition.
it's I know, dude. I was fucking waiting to
He's like,
transition.
I'm ready.
Yeah. I had it in my mind. As soon as I had it, I was like, I'm
we've been
running
doing
with
this
it.
podcast for over a year, and Dan's never once like hit a transition smooth it.
He's
and
like,
he hasn't been on the
smooth it.
podcast in like a month.
I was
for-
just on. Like,
Well, no,
last
for-
week.
from
Then I
our
call him out
episode.
and he gets his transitions ruined.
Yeah, no. But so let's start over.
Okay.
So 75 hard, guys. Like,
Rich,
it's
go
a
ahead
great,
and cut that so it
No.
sounds like Dan did really fucking good.
No, don't cut it. No, so it's great for our topic today.
It is.
Which is the compound effect. And it's great because every day you had to put in consistent daily efforts and you see those results by the time you get to the 75 days. But before we get started, you guys have any quotes?
I do. So I have one by Tony Robbins, who's not usually like the first guy that I go towards.
That's my dude.
And his was, it's not what we do once in a while that shapes our lives. It's what we do consistently. So to me, it's kind of like, people can decide to pursue their work like real hard or pursue fitness real hard. And then they get burnt out on it or they just lose that desire. But if you do small things like every single day consistently, they just build on top of each other.
Yeah,
Yep.
I like that.
Big fan. So mine, that's weird. You have a Tony Robbins one. I have a Warren Buffett one,
Oh, there we go.
which is kind of flip-flopped here.
Yeah.
My wealth has come from a combination of living in America, some lucky genes, and compound interest. That's Warren Buffett.
Nice.
Yep.
So I
I
actually,
love the compound interest too.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah. And we'll talk a little bit more about that.
So I actually am switching. It's not really a quote, but to me, it kind of falls in lines. And I've talked about this before. It's basically an image. If you Google 365 to the 1.01 power and you hit images, you'll find it. But 1.01 to the 365th power equals 37.8. 1 to the 365th power equals 1. And then take that even further, 0.99. So 1% worse every day
Mm-hmm.
to the 365th power is 0.03.
Yeah.
So
that's
when
awesome.
if you start at 1 and you don't do shit with your life for a year, and let's say you're at 1, right?
Yeah.
So you didn't change year over year. You didn't change. But if you just put in 1% better effort every day on a consistent basis, and the compound effect takes place, you get 37.8. So you're 37.8 times better than you were after an entire year. That's crazy. And then it's even crazier to me that if you're starting to make bad decisions or making decisions to not do something good, you become 0.03 over 365 days, which is close to 0.
Yeah, that's actually, to me, the more interesting part about the compound effect. Is
It
that
works both ways?
Yeah, that
It works both ways,
Like
yeah.
people think it's only to better yourself, but it's actually like it hinders you so much more. Like it's better to not do something bad. Like you said, and stay at 1.
I mean, fuck, we talk about it. If you're not growing, you're dying, right?
Yep.
And like literally every day, I don't even believe that you can go 1 to the 365th power and just stay the same. You're either fucking getting worse
I
or you're
agree.
getting better. I think that you can get comfortable. And when you get comfortable, that's when you start to either, I mean, I guess people when they're starting to retire and things like that, they've built up a nest egg to be able to digress, I guess. But
we talked about this the other week. It was like, like at what age are you like you turn the dial back, and at
we
some
see
point
it
people
like
get comfortable.
whenever we do those fucking with the students from our high school, we would do entrepreneurial. They would present to us, or we would just mentor them or answer questions. And we get in these rooms, and there's entrepreneurs, or I call them business owners. I don't even know if I like the word entrepreneur. And they're 50 years old, and they haven't done much more than what the number or the business size they wanted to get to. Then they got comfortable, and then they just try to maintain that.
Yeah.
And typically, if you try to maintain, you start to die there. So
Well, the thing is, we talk about it. It's like maintaining to a certain degree takes effort.
Yeah, it takes just as much effort.
Yeah, for the most part, it always takes just as much effort. So it's like,
Well,
you're not necessarily getting worse, but it's like, and there's like,
I agree with that, but like if you maintain, so like let's say I have the relationships I have today in business, and I just maintain those relationships, and then one of those guys get hit by a Freightliner truck.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, because I was only focused on maintaining that relationship and not any new relationships, or let's say that guy wants to retire or whatever, right? I go down because I was just I had my eggs in my basket, and that's all I was worried about. I wasn't trying to put any more eggs in my basket.
And to piggyback off that, another thing that that we talk about, and we might have said it before, is if you maintain, like you talk about your relationships with your clients, and you're doing well, and but nothing happens to any of them. But if you maintain to stay the same, like over your business or whatever, well, you factor in inflation, you factor in technology, you factor in everybody else growing, even maintaining is going to bring you down in some sense, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I agree.
Well, you lose out on opportunities. If you're only focused on maintaining what you have,
Yeah.
you're not looking for opportunities for growth,
Right.
in my opinion.
Yeah, and so kind of back to the compound effect. It's small things you're doing day in and day out that are essentially tweaking your habits, but in the long run, it's producing these massive rewards, right? So if we talked about like just going back to it, the 75 hard thing, it's like realistically, my workouts weren't anything crazy. Like I did some intense ones at times, but I was battling a bulging disc throughout almost the majority of it.
Pusitis.
Did he say bulging discs?
No, it was pusitis.
Oh, okay.
What is pusitis?
You can't even say it.
What is it?
Don't worry about it.
What is it, Dan? Why don't you say it for our women listeners? You fucking asshole.
Really? God, you got to go there.
But one of my workouts was a walk. So if you think about it, it's like if I get a lift in, a walk in, read 10 pages, drink a gallon of water, you're like, that's cool. Like you had a solid day, it sounds like, but it's nothing fucking crazy. But you do that over 75 days, and that's kind of what's reaping the rewards. So one of the things I wanted to talk about there was I was reading something that says actually every single choice you make, no matter how slight, alters the course of your life. So it's like going to the gym, or hitting a happy hour, right? Reading a book or binging Netflix, or kind of what Josh Sample talked about last week. Like, are you leaving the office when the work is done, or were you just super inefficient with your time?
What did we talk about last night on text, or was it we were messaging?
What?
You're like, oh God, I know I need to work on this.
Yeah.
And then we both had the same thought process because we've all been there.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I need to get this done. It's late at night. And it's like, oh, how many times? And I've done this. I mean, fuck.
We all have.
It's like, oh, I'll just wake up real early tomorrow and knock it out. And guess what?
Keep sleeping.
Don't fucking wake up early. And then the next day you're fucking scrambling to, and so it's just that one decision to get it done when it needs to get done.
Yep.
Because you can't start your next day on a good foot.
But you and I, and like we've all already have some like good habits in place. But in the book, The Compound Effect, it actually talks about psychologists say that 95% of everything we feel, think, do, and achieve is a result of a learned habit, right? Majority of the time we're running on some type of autopilot for this stuff. So the whole idea of like, yes, we slip up here and there when we try to do something that's outside of our norm. But the idea is we've gotten in the groove of these good habits that it's like, we just know that we're going to do these now. Like you weren't working out. Now you're working out, right? Like you had certain habits that you developed over time for your recruiting company, right? Now it's just like, I have to get these done. Whether it's like telling yourself that you're broke or sending out invoices or whatever the fuck it is, things are going to move your business forward.
Yeah. And I mean, in the one thing, right, he talks about like, hey, you have to develop those daily habits. And how long does it take? 20 something days. What was it?
There's no real science to it. Some people say 21, some people say 66. It really depends on the habit. But
Depending on the book,
time and consistency is what is the.
But that's the thing is like you have to make it a subconscious habit,
Yeah.
and then once it's there, then you've leveled up, and then you can move on with your life and build another habit on top of that. So
Yep. So why do you guys think? And we've already talked about this, but expand on why you feel. The compound effect works, or how does it work? Like what's the big mystery behind it?
I think for me, the reason why I buy into it so much is because I think that a lot of people get stuck in, hey, I want all this great stuff and the amount of work that they think that they can make it happen very quickly. And so, or they get stuck because of paralysis by analysis or perfection. Everything needs to line up perfectly for my life to work out the way I thought it was. And what I like about the compound effect is it's really the definition of progress over perfection.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just like when I was working out and when I lost a few pounds a couple of years ago, it was, you know what? If I'm gonna ride my bike every single day, whether it's fucking 20 feet or it's 10 miles. And so it was just like the habit of getting on that bike and just going up and down the street because I didn't have time or what I didn't make it a bigger priority that day. But and then it was just that progress and building that habit that led me to lose weight at that time.
And that's what I think's so interesting about it is like there's people who will just sit on the couch and they won't take that step, whether it's, trying to better themselves in a financial aspect, a fitness aspect, or anything really, is that every single step you make towards a goal is progress.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people look at that as like, oh, well, I still have, 99 more things to do before I get there, instead of thinking of, okay, 1 down, 99 to go. Like just keep plugging along here. And for me, the part that why I am so fascinated by is you see results. Like whether you think so or not, when you accomplish something towards a goal, it's something to be proud of, no matter how big or small it is. And I think that's where you do in your mind maybe need to celebrate every goal you have, but not outwardly. Inwardly, like celebrate that, like, hey, I fucking got off the couch and did that today or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I think, and this is maybe a little bit off topic, but in terms of if you're sitting on the couch and you're thinking, oh, it'd be so cool to do this thing, and you never do it, well, obviously you're just whatever, fuck, you're
never going to do it.
But if you start to do it, and I think the compound effect, if you put those daily action items, one cool thing that will happen is sometimes you'll think, I have this awesome idea, I'll do this thing, and then you start putting in those daily efforts, and I wouldn't consider this a failure, but you start to become closer to what you want. But then you also realize, like, sometimes you'll go down a path and that's not what you wanted, but at least you went down the fucking path and you learned something. And so that's not a failure. You just realized the path I thought I was supposed to go down, I didn't need to go down. And I guess the compound effect only works in that scenario because you're taking, action towards a goal you thought you might want.
Yeah.
And then you realize.
Or maybe it's the goal and the path is different of how you're going to get there, right? In Dr. Selk's book, the original book I read, which was Executive Toughness, he talks about like finding your purpose, and he just starts by saying, pick a purpose. He's like, everybody gets so fucking like bent out of shape about thinking about this like grandiose purpose, like I'm gonna fucking cure cancer, or I'm gonna save the starving kids in Africa, or whatever it is. It's like, pick something that you know kind of motivates you, and then start taking action towards it, right? Like really soon, like I'm sure within like even a week, you're gonna know if that's it or not, right? And if it's not it, you redirect and keep going. But like have your goal in mind, like if it's a boat, if it's a house, if it's a amount of money or freedom or whatever, have that goal in mind, and then continue to move forward, like you're saying, those daily efforts, learn from those little failures, and then keep on pressing forward the 1% better.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, and I think what both of you had talked on is just the idea of huge efforts occasionally versus small, consistent efforts regularly, right? Like when most people think of change in life, they think of big, drastic changes, mostly because you only hear about the big shit that happens, right? Somebody getting a new job, somebody getting a big commission check, or, a drastic like change in their life that, like a transformation, something like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, it's a habits thing. So, like, if somebody just gave you a fuck ton of money, you might blow it because you didn't develop the habit of making it, and so you just spend it, but you didn't have the skill set to make it back.
It's a fact.
That's one thing. But also, the turtle in the hair.
Yep.
Is that?
That's in,
I think
that's in the book. You remembered it.
There's a podcast that we did where I called it like the turtle and the toad or something. Like I didn't have the two animals, right? But I mean, the turtle ends up winning because the consistent effort versus the hare who fucking ran real fast and said, "Fuck, I could take it easy."
Yep. And the people from the outside, the quote unquote haters, like that's the, those are the people that don't see the cliche, there's the iceberg and then everything else that's under that. So they start to call people lucky. And I always relate it back to like my first sales job. And I started like smashing sales records, and people would tell me I'm lucky. It's like, oh, well, you've got this territory, which was Texas. And like Texas is like the best territory. It's like you landed these big accounts and like that made your nut. And I'm like, no, douchebag. Like people have had this stuff before and never done what I've done.
Yeah, a record's a record.
A record's a record. And it's like, I'm doing this because I realize, and I wouldn't say that because I was a big pussy about it back then, but like, and I really thought I was getting lucky for a second, but like looking back on it now, I was like, no, because I stayed every night 2 hours later and would call on these business owners when I knew that they would be at home and answering their phones every single fucking night for like months on end until I started landing accounts. And then I got
what happened
a little
to
bit
that
comfortable.
Matt? Yeah.
And then I got a little bit comfortable.
Where'd that Matt go?
And then I got a little bit comfortable. That Matt learned how to hire his own fucking sales guy, so he didn't have to crank out 100 calls a day.
Delegate.
So, I mean, that goes in lines with like the Messi quote where I started early, I stay late, day after day, year after year, and it took me 17 years, 114 days to become an overnight success. Yeah, exactly. Right? Like nobody fucking sees that shit. Yeah. All the work that you put in to become a professional athlete, or once you hit it, and then it's like, back to our podcast about luck. It's like, oh, that guy got lucky. No, you just didn't see all the shit that he put in.
We all know you create your own luck, and kind of going off of that. I had my example. Do you guys have anything that sticks out for you? Where the compound effect really had an impact on your life in any area?
So lately, which I know this isn't like normally up Dan's alley, but mine has been fitness. I've been actually putting in daily efforts every single day. And, I'm looking better. I feel better. But it's also helped me walk into work every day with a lot clearer mind. Like I'm not going 75 hard, crazy. I'm just putting in an hour every morning. But I walk in and I'm like ready to start the fucking day every single day. And I felt a lot better about myself. And then something, if I'm just gonna dive into it, something that I need to work on with the compound effect is like my bookkeeping, my billing. Like I'm fucking horrible at it. And like that's how I get paid, And like I'll sit there, like I had a guy call me the other day and was like, hey, like it's been a month and I haven't got an invoice yet. And I'm like, fuck. Yeah, man. It's like, so I need to find a way of, putting that daily action item in place, whether it's, 10 minutes a day or whatever it may be, to start moving the ball forward in that direction to get my money.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing for me. It's just, what can I do to move the ball forward every day? And what am I bad at? What are the things that I fucking hate to do? And if I put those on a daily action item list and I just do them consistently, like, hey, just do one invoice a day over the next 5, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, all my shit's done when I have, 5, 10 invoices due the next week. So, yeah, I mean, it really, for me, the application part is just writing down what is the habit that I want to build and then doing that every day for a certain amount of time and winning the day, obviously.
Yep. And when we all get into this, we've got so many different areas of our life in so many ways. Like if you ask any one of us, in which area of my life can I improve on? You're probably going to say all of them, right? And
well, high achievers like us, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's just like the double-edged sword of like trying to or striving to be successful. But one of the things I want to talk about, Dan, I mentioned it to you, Brad, I don't know if you saw this in the email, was an interesting theory that piggybacks off probably how we've talked about balance before, and it's the 4 burners theory. So in this one, it says family, friends, health, and work are all sitting on a burner. I really think it should be 6. I think family and friends are there, work, finances, spirituality, and health. But basically, it just says, in order to be successful in one area of your life, you have to cut off one of the burners. Because those old school burners, if you cut off one, there's more power to the others. And in order to be really successful in an area, you've got to cut off 2.
Yep.
So what are your thoughts on that in terms of the compound effect? And then it's like, what are you, like, if you're doing this balancing act of like, I want to be great in all these areas of my life, if you cut off a burner, are you fully cutting it off? And how much of a hit can that take? So what are your guys' thoughts?
So I actually thought this was awesome. I thought this was almost more interesting than the compound effect when I read the link that you sent me.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I would have said a couple months ago, I would have said friends and health, but now I would say friends and family. And that's wrong to think, like, because, my family's probably like, one of the most important things in my life. But in order for me to give them what they really need, I need to be in the shape to make clear, good decisions. I obviously need to be fucking alive.
Yep.
And my business has to thrive. And I think, I've talked about it before, like I definitely don't take care of my wife and my kids as far as like time commitments like I should. And there was a period here where I did, like I took some steps towards doing that. But I honestly, I did notice a bit of a decline in my like drive for business. Like I like seeing those fucking numbers come through the door. Like I like seeing the sales. And if I really want to hit those goals in life that I have, I need to put them on the back burner for a little bit to at least reach to this level and then show them some attention. And then that sounds so fucking bad.
It does. But here's the thing is like
But-
I've had the exact same thoughts. And so, I think everybody who has a business or is very career oriented or health oriented, whatever it might be, can struggle with this. And the reason is because like, dude, these are your fucking kids. It's your wife. This is, but at the same time, like we only get one crack at life. Okay. And so for me, it's like, I want to live the life that I have this vision for, and so the only way to do that is to turn off a couple burners, right?
Yep.
Like that's the only fucking way you're going to do it. There's no way you can do all of this with all the burners on. And so it does sound selfish, but then I've reframed it actually not too long ago where it's like, do I want my kids to see me giving up on my fucking dreams, or do I want to lead by example and say, hey guys, I know that sometimes I get home at 8:00 at night, or I know that like sometimes I have shit going on, but when you get older, I want you to follow your fucking dreams too. And I want you to do some things for yourself as well. And so as fucked up as it is, I'm hoping that as long as I have those discussions that it's a lead by example type thing where it's like, you only get one life too. And if you got to miss my 50th birthday party to go after your fucking dream, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so
that's a good way to look at it too. And like, and I think that's why I have health as on there, because I don't want to be that guy that like works his ass off and then reaches that level and then fucking kills over from a fucking heart attack.
Right.
Like I don't want to have that happen either. So, but like I also like I'm hoping I'm in the same position as Dan, that my kids are like, fuck, my dad busted his ass and this is what he did. And I think my dad did that with me. I had a lot of sacrifices with him. I saw what he built, And I think that's why I have the drive that I have.
Yeah,
So,
it rubbed off on you. And I was actually going to say, there's a couple things, especially coming from a guy that doesn't have a wife or kids, but has like a dog that requires minimal effort at this point. But when you were, Brad, when you were like, that sounds bad. And I think from like the average Joe that might not know you because they don't know what you do, it could sound bad. But like we see, like, you know, you're going on a trip with your family, right? Like you're at your kids' like shit, or like going to a creek with your kids. Like it's not like you're living out of a hotel and you don't ever fucking see your family. It's just you're saying you don't spend as much time as you would like right now. But two things off that, I truly believe that like the biggest way to lead is by example. And so when you're sitting there and your kids are like, you know, you got to miss some little shit. Or whatever the fuck it is, it's like your kids know that you're working and you're grinding and that you're trying to provide the life for them that you want to. Like you want to be able to say yes to your kids on a bunch of shit. And you want them to grow up to be fucking badasses.
Yeah. So Dan Pena, who I fucking love, that dude is just
$1 trillion.
I mean, he hopefully if there's any
Bro, he's a little extra.
So I think he's partly full of shit, but it's so funny because like. Dude, just the shit he says. Anyways, I would follow him just to laugh at the professional development approach he has. But he does have like a test on his website, and it's a success test, and it'll determine will you be successful. And the test is, are you willing to miss your anniversary because you had a client call you? Are you willing to miss your kid's birthday party? And like it goes farther and farther. And depending on what you're willing to sacrifice and what burner you're willing to turn off and how much you're willing to turn it off, if you're willing to turn that motherfucker all the way off, then it'll spit out. You will probably be very successful, right? Like to your point, you got to turn 2 burners off.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, think about athletes. Think about actors like Mark Wahlberg. Think about. I mean, fuck Donald Trump, right? Like, do you think he fucking raised his kids? Probably not. You know what I mean? And so they've turned off all their fucking burners to focus on just their shit, right?
Yep.
Like, they probably turned off 3 burners.
Yeah.
You know, so that, I mean, LeBron James, like, they're all missing a lot of time with their kids. They're missing their wife's birthday. They're missing all these different things. And so, you know, they might not miss the birth of their child, but other than that, outside of that, like, they're missing a lot of shit. But they're the most successful people in the world at what they do. And, you know, so I think if you point to anybody who's kind of reached those peaks, I guess, then I think that the burner is, you know, defined well.
For sure. And side note on that, because you brought him up, Mark Wahlberg, if you look up the HBO docuseries Wall Street, if you're into like entrepreneurial type shit that's like well directed and you want to hear about his life, like he lives a real life like he actually was the story behind Entourage, but like now all the different businesses he's in, the time that he wakes up in the morning, the fucking grind that dude has, and like still makes time for his family and friends, even though he has to sacrifice.
He was away on that documentary. He was away for like 3 months at one time, not see your kids.
Exactly. Yep. So yeah, I think sacrifices are necessary, but it's all about overall well-being. You know what I mean? It's like, it's all about whatever the fuck it is that's going to make you happy. But you should be growing. If you're not growing in some area of your life, then you will not be happy and fulfilled. You will be depressed. And that's, you know, we had, who do we have? Oh, Michael Easter, when we talked about it. It's like these people that are so comfortable because it's such a great time to live to where you don't have to do a lot. Those people that are sitting there in their house, not challenging themselves in any way, shape, or form. That's why depression is an all-time high. That's why people don't want to fucking go back to work.
Yeah, and I want to jump in real quick. Like, just because we're talking like, hey, fucking shut off the burner of your family or shut off the burner of health or whatever it is, I think it's different for everyone, and we're not like recommending which burners to shut off just because we're talking about family.
No.
Like
fuck your whole family.
I just wanted to throw that out there because I think that's like, you just got to figure out what's the most important goal for you, and then you can figure out what burners to shut off from there.
For sure.
So.
Yep. Cool. Actually, I think I'm all done on the note side. You guys got anything else?
No, I'm pretty good.
OF?
No, not today.
So no OnlyFans inquiry.
Which means, hey guys, like, come on.
We had a late roll topic idea. So
late topic idea. Yeah. We kind of forgot how to do this side of it because we're not, you know, we've had on so many guests, which is awesome. Nothing huge coming up in the pipeline in terms of guests or nothing at all. So that'll be some good content that we're going to try to get back on just our stuff. And we appreciate you guys listening, tuning in, and we will see you all next week. Is that
That's
it?
it.
Is that how I end things?
I'm good.
Okay. Deuces.
See ya.
Peace.